The notice requirements of the New Jersey Public Meetings Law is satisfied by forwarding a news release to the Asbury Park Press on June 13, 2015, stating that a regular meeting of the ToCN Meeting will be held on August 19, 2015 at 7:30 p.m. Town Hall. The notice requirements have been posted on the township website, and a copy is on file in the office of the township clerk.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Orgo.
Here.
Committeeman McNeil.
Here.
Mayor Shatzel.
Here. Committeemen Engel and Fitzgerald unfortunately have some conflicts this evening. Item number 1 is approval of minutes. We have actually the regular meeting of July 15, 2015, and then we had 2 executive sessions on July 28th and July 29th that were personnel matters relating to the business administrator position. Gentlemen, any corrections, additions?
I got one question.
Sure.
Can I vote on the 29th even though I wasn't here, I was on the phone?
Did you participate by phone?
Yes.
Yes, you can.
Motion.
Second. Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Orgo.
Yes.
Committeeman McNeil.
Yes.
Mayor Shatzel.
Yes. Item number 1.5 is not on your agenda, but we have a special proclamation this evening that I'm happy to read and go over, especially on the eve of the 25th anniversary of the ToCN Fair. Mr. Meisner, if you don't mind, you can come up. For those who don't know, this is Hank Meisner, former mayor and resident of the township, and you'll find out why he's here tonight. So very proud of this. In recognition of ToCN Country Fair 25th anniversary, co-founder Hank Meisner. Whereas the ToCN Country Fair was founded in 1990, and the ToCN Country Fair was founded by co-chairman Hank Meisner and Vincent Maltese, and whereas the foresight, hard work, and dedication of the founding members of the committee, members of the ToCN Country Fair, created an event for all to enjoy these past 25 years. And whereas the foresight of founding co-chairman of ToCN Country Fair, Mr. Hank Meisner and Mr. Maltese, are hereby recognized for their vision and for laying the foundation for an event that has greatly benefited the community of ToCN. And special recognition is given to the founding co-chairman and all volunteer members of the ToCN Country Fair that donate countless hours of their time and talents throughout these past 25 years to make the fair a memorable experience. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Mayor and Township Committee of the Township of ToCN that honors, commends, and publicly recognizes Hank Meisner for his volunteerism within the ToCN community as the ToCN Country Fair celebrates its 25th anniversary within the Township of ToCN. Sir, thank you, sir.
What I'd like to tell you is that first I got a call last night from John Robinson, who said it's been 25 years. And I said, no, 25 years. But Vince Maltese and I got together with Huddy's, I guess 26 years ago. We talked about the idea of a fair. And with Vince's help and a lot of other people's help, the 1% of ToCN put the fair. And to them, it's incredible.
Thank you, sir. Know that before I came to the meeting tonight, I was at the fairgrounds, and I always loved that I was there yesterday, and it was Bucksville Park, and 12 hours later, 24 hours later, it's now ToCN Fair ready to go, and the rides are being tested. I didn't get to go on one, I was running late, but the rides are being tested, and the tents are up, so hopefully you'll be able to stop by, or I'll send you a whole bunch of pictures.
Thank you.
Item number 2 is a presentation, request to approval variance, 11 Princeton Lane, Block 10, Lot 2.08. We have with us our Environmental Commission Chair, Mr. David Costa. Dave, if you could fill us in a little bit on this.
Mr. Mayor, the applicant approached the Environmental Commission with a request to put a full fence through a conservation easement. Now, as you know, fences, structures are not allowed in the conservation easement. However, there are several things unique about this situation. When this development was first proposed, or approved, I should say, this particular homeowner, as well as several others, were given permission to continue to mow within the conservation easement. So there's a section of the conservation easement that they would mow and landscape. And the applicant, this was a new home, so the applicant was putting in a pool and wanted to fence in, instead of just fencing in the pool, the applicant wanted to fence in the entire backyard. In order to do that, the fence on one side would have to be about, as I recall, 27 feet through the conservation easement, and on the other side, 85 feet through the conservation easement. The Environmental Commission went out, looked at the property, talked to the homeowner, and basically believed that there were no negative impacts to the environment by doing this because the ground had already been cleared. It was basically a farm, so it wasn't like we were going to be cutting down trees, cutting down vegetation. It's basically flat land. So the Environmental Commission has taken the position that there are no negative environmental impacts by allowing the applicant to put up a fence through the conservation easement on each side of his property. The applicant is here, Mr. Mayor, if you wish to have any particular questions, but in essence, that's the situation. If anybody in the committee has a question for me, I'll be happy to.
No?
Yes, we just have to approve it, have it all in favor. One of the things that's wonderful is our Environmental Commission, as we all know, with our water situation in the township, being on well water, we continuously monitor all environmental impacts on the township. As a matter of fact, just on the website today or yesterday, our deputy clerk put up about the drought that we're experiencing. So it's a huge deal for us, and we really value the Environmental Commission's input, and we'll be going with your recommendation that this one isn't going to have any impact. Yes?
Let me just add, when we went out and looked at the property, we did discover that the well had been installed within the conservation easement. We mentioned that we obviously indicated to the homeowner that this would be a major concern about, that a well in the conservation easement. The homeowner was very cooperative in dealing with the drilling people, and they had moved the well outside. They had been tying the well outside of the conservation easement, so we were very pleased with that as well.
Wonderful. And I appreciate the homeowners' cooperation with all of this, and welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Very well. Exactly. There's no other motion? Motion.
Move to allow the homeowner to encroach on the easement as per the conservation easement as per the recommendation of the Environmental Commission.
And in accordance with the plans prepared by Two Rivers Engineering and dated, whatever the date is on there, December 27th. Whatever the date is, I can't read it. But in accordance, this is how you want it, right? This is how he wants it?
It's 11/3/14 is the date of the plan.
Okay, and in accordance with that plan?
Yeah.
Just so that we know what we're doing. Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah.
That was your roll call then.
Got it?
Yes.
Okay.
Deputy Mayor Rosenbaum?
Please second.
Yes.
Roll call.
Yes.
Mayor Shackle?
Yes.
Yes.
Item number 3, ordinance 2015-12, an ordinance amending chapter 68, volunteer incentives. This is the second reading by title. Just to refresh your memory, if this is your first hearing about this, for many years we've had a volunteer incentive for members of the township's first aid squad and fire department. And this particular ordinance was looked at, as they all are, continuously, just to make sure they're as clear as possible. So there was some added language to make sure that the incentives were spelled out without any confusion whatsoever. It didn't take away any of the incentives that were in place for these many years. Any comments from the committee? No. Open to the public? Seeing none, close to the public, and motion to approve.
Motion.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Rosenbaum?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor
Yes.
Mayor Shackle?
Yes. Item number 4, ordinance 2015-13, an ordinance authorizing the leasing of certain capital equipment by the Township of Colts-Neck, New Jersey, from the Monmouth County Improvement Authority, and the execution of a lease and agreement relating thereto. This is also a second reading by title. There is a organization, I just read.
We have to get the fourth.
I'm sorry, thank you very much. Yeah, So
This is
this,
the bond ordinance.
this is a bond ordinance, and by law, we need 4/5 of the committee. So, and also by law and the advice of our attorney, we're able to get one of the committee men, in this case Mike Fitzgerald, on the phone for the description.
You ready?
Great. Committeeman Fitzgerald, I just read ordinance 2015-13, which you're aware of, which talks about the second reading by title for the Monmouth County Improvement Authority. I was telling the audience that the Monmouth County Improvement Authority is an organization that allows municipalities in the county to go ahead and apply for some bond money at a lower interest rate than if we did it on our own. So it's an organization that we've used for many, many years, very successfully, keeping our interest rates on the bonds low. There is time constraints, so this particular ordinance puts us to the availability to go ahead and use up to $375,000 to bond through the authority if we choose to. What we'll be using this money for if we move forward is for public works equipment. I'm sorry, 325. If I said 75, it's 325,000. So this does not commit us to the money. This action tonight is simply to avail us of the process so we don't get timed out of the process. Any comments from the committee? Open public hearing?
Can we question?
Sure, of course.
Virginia, amen. Can we question the person you had on the telephone?
Sure.
Can we hear him?
I will, Michael, can you can hear me?
I can hear you, I can't hear the person line particularly well.
It's Mrs. Amon, and I will repeat her question if that's acceptable to her.
I'm wondering what pieces of equipment, Public Works thinks they need to be already purchased by a few pieces recently.
Sure, Committeeman Fitzgerald, that's about the equipment that we may be purchasing through this agreement. Right now, we have two pieces of equipment that we're looking at. One is a dump truck with plow and spreader with a useful life of, it's for the term, is 5 years, and that's for the bond, and that's an estimated cost of $125,000. The next piece of equipment that we're considering is a 12-foot truck with hook lift, and again, under the bond laws, that has a useful life of 15 years with a lease term of 10 years, and that is $200,000. So that's where the $325,000 came from. We haven't came to a complete consensus of if that's the two pieces of equipment that we're going to be getting, but right now, that's where the numbers came from.
And just the same, these were things that were discussed during budget time. This is part of our capital discussion during budget time. So this is just the genesis of that. Now we're getting to the point where we're looking at the most cost-effective means of acquiring pieces of equipment that we discussed during capital.
So is this additional, a way of financing it, or is it new equipment?
It will be
Financing new equipment.
financing new equipment.
Yes, financing new equipment. Financing new equipment but equipment that we discussed during budget time. So it's not anything that we didn't discuss back in the February, March, April budget time.
Was there other equipment that was purchased or budgeted for at that time?
Capital equipment? I believe
Oh,
so.
not for public works.
Not for public works, this is the public works stuff.
Okay, thank you.
And this is Damon, just to be clear, these are replacements for equipment we have, not adding to the fleet. It's replacing equipment that is no longer viable for what we need it for. Yes.
Box, 92 Local Road. This ordinance seems to commit you to a lease, but it doesn't have the actual lease rates. It doesn't have residual value, all of the things that you expect to see in a lease. And so my question is, have you done a lease versus buy study to see if you are, overpaying by this, having a third party, having this whole lease?
This is the most financial, the best way of purchasing this equipment.
This is called a lease purchase program through the Monmouth County Improvement Authority. It opens up the availability for municipalities to go in and actually lease purchase equipment. I think there are 27 municipalities or entities that are participating in this round. It's only available every other year. It's not available every year. And the towns can take advantage of paying out over 5 years the cost and spreading the cost of the equipment out over that period of time. They do a lease program. They get this money at a significantly lower rate than we would be able to borrow it ourselves. And then it gets paid off through the program, or the lease purchase program. It's been a very popular, successful program to be able to do it that way.
So the residual value was effectively zero?
Exactly, yes. You will ultimately own the property in full. You will own the trucks at the end of the lease purchase.
We don't have to front all the money.
You don't have to.
We don't have to bond it as far as making a big bond to do it.
This is it's called a lease purchase program.
And does this agency take a fee on top of, in other words, when this flows through, is it literally the bond interest and principal you pay, or do you pay some higher amount based on the third party that's intervening in this transaction?
Let me just think about that, how I can answer this. There are some fees in the beginning that are built into the lease purchase program, but it's accounted. So the savings is because the size of the purchase is so large that the interest rates are driven down. There is an administrative cost that's built in to the cost of when you borrow the money, but it goes to the county, the improvement authorities. So I don't know off the top of my head what the prices are, to be perfectly honest with you. I just can't remember.
Has the staff prepared a business case document for this that shows these different alternatives?
The bond counsel had prepared, which is my office, and it's my daughter, that had submitted together with the people from John Drakowitz, who's the bond counsel for the Improvement Authority, have given out the debt service analysis of what it will cost over the next 2 years, and I don't have that here, but that's available here down. The cost factors. I can only tell you that it is less expensive to acquire equipment this way than it is for the town to go out and buy it on their own, because it's volume that drives the cost down, the interest rates down. Volume of the dollars.
Okay.
And we get the advantage of their bond rating, which is AAA.
At what point would you publish to the town the difference between you buying yourself and what this engagement?
We can get that to Mr. Andrews, and I can get it for you. I mean, it's not a secret, to be honest with you. I mean, it's just,
okay.
I mean, it's not, I just don't have it with me. I just don't know.
Well, and also you don't actually know what the interest rates are.
No, it has in here that
It says maximum of 5.5.
and it'll be less than that, substantially.
I would think, yes.
We're not committed to doing anything. This just, it opens the door for us to be able
Opens it
to.
up so they can.
They haven't agreed to buy anything.
Yeah, we haven't done anything yet.
Just so you understand. This just puts the availability of the funds in place to buy if they decide to buy.
So if you decided in your generosity to purchase those pieces of equipment for the town, we'd be more than happy to take them from you and issue the right to borrow the money to go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
I know.
Would he obtain a tax credit?
That's the best part.
Any other questions from the public? Great, seeing none, closing the public hearing. May I ask for a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Wardo?
Yes.
Committeeman Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Committeeman Mattown?
Yes.
Mayor Sacco?
Yes, thanks, Michael.
Just let the record know that Councilman Fitzgerald now is left.
Thank you. Item number 5 is, since we just had an affirmative vote on the prior one, this is Resolution 2015-93, resolution of the Township of Holtzclaw, New Jersey, approving the form and authorizing execution and delivery of a letter of representation and continuing disclosure agreement in connection with the insurance and delivery of the Monmouth County Improvement Authority's capital equipment pooled lease revenue bond series 2015 and authorizing municipal representative to do all other things deemed necessary or advisable in connection with the insurance sale and delivery of such bonds. Comments, gentlemen?
Motion.
Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Longo?
Yes.
Chairman Magnan?
Yes.
Mayor Patson?
Yes. Resolution 2015-94, resolution approving renewal of liquor licenses for the 2015-2016 license year. So in the township, we have several liquor licenses. This is a process that is, goes through the ABC authority. The police department does a investigation, if you will, for lack of better terms. Our clerk also makes sure that all of the renewal fees for the period that we're either approving or not approving tonight have been paid. All the reports have been given to the Township Committee prior to tonight's meeting. It seems that there are no issues in fees or the police investigation or report. So this would be approving liquor licenses, in a total of 7 of them. And one is actually a pocket license that was the old I Cavallini. And as you know, that was changed many years ago, and that person is still holding the license, but it's not in use. The other ones are ones you can probably imagine: Due Process Golf Course, Huddy's Inn, Colts Neck Inn, Steak and Chop House, Green Meadows Restaurants, Mary Ann's Inn, and Colts Neck Wine and Liquor are only liquor stores in the township. Any comments?
Yeah, I got one new one that's gonna be at Home Day. We got the other one.
Yes, that's state issued though, we're not involved in that. Okay, the state issues that directly. They had an ABC license and they let it lapse. And they reapplied for it, and I was notified today that that license was issued to them. They intend, and it's similar, it's identical to the license that the Colts Neck Golf Club has, the golf course has, and also Trump National has.
It doesn't have a county park system, isn't it?
Yes, yes. They anticipate, what they're trying to do is to have tournaments at that golf club. And they feel that without this ABC license, which they had prior years, without that, the chance of tournament play is less than it would be.
Well, who owns the license, the county or a private individual?
No, the county.
Anything else? Okay. Motion?
Motion.
Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Longo?
Yes.
Chairman Magnan?
Yes, except no my extension on the Mary Ann's for a conflict,
And Mayor Shatson?
Yes. Item number 7, resolution 2015-95, resolution requesting the New Jersey Department of Transportation perform an engineering study to make improvements to the traffic light at the intersection of State Highway 34, Phalanx Road, and Flock Road. Please, you can comment on that.
Yeah, this is my, I think some folks were here last time, a lot of folks were not here last time. This was my my request that the township consider, and it specifically deals with the what I perceive to be a persistent traffic concern at the intersection of Route 34 and Phalanx Flock, especially when Brookdale is in session. There is tends to be a long backup of traffic on Phalanx Road heading westbound, with oftentimes people that are supposed to be going straight, going into the right turn lane only, passing on the right. I know we've had some accidents there. I've witnessed a number of near misses. It's problematic because you just can't get through the light. So the suggestion was that they have a technical term for it called the green advance, but we think we know it as staggering the light. So that'll enable the traffic on the westbound side of 34, hopefully to get through the light before the traffic coming eastbound off of Flock Road goes, and hopefully obviate the need for people to do the illegal pass on the right and reduce the safety hazard. So what state law requires, the state will do it, they'll do an engineering study and they'll make the change, but the state law requires that we commit 25% of the funds to do that, and that's what this does. We think it's a good investment, especially with the upcoming improvements next year to the intersection of 34 and 537. We're anticipating that there'll be a lot more cut-throughs through town, a lot more people availing themselves of our secondary roads, Flock Road, Phalanx Road, to avoid that 34-537 intersection. So I think this problem will be fairly significant come next year. And so that's why we're doing this.
Any comment?
Well, the only comment I got, and what I understand from Tom, is that now they're not gonna do Route 34 next year, they're gonna do a study. We're looking at 2020?
No, two different things. You're talking about...
No, this part's gonna get done.
We're talking about the intersection improvement at 34-537.
No, I'm talking about Flock Road from Becker's, when they were supposed to do from where the intersection 537 to 34, they're supposed to do north all the way. And there was promises they were gonna do it last year, and they didn't.
Two different things.
No, wait a minute. Then they're gonna do it this coming year. Now they're gonna do a whole new study on 34 northbound. So it should be put in there that while they're gonna do this and redo this whole route, after we do this, they should come to be putting another lane in there.
Sure. We can comment on that.
But it's not gonna be now, it's 2020.
Correct.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
We did that.
There you go. Motion?
May I ask you a question?
We're gonna wait till, sure, we usually wait to comments, but Mrs. Resch, go ahead.
Like, what is 25%?
The estimate that we've been given for the total cost is somewhere in the $35,000 range, so 25% of that, whatever, 9,000 or so. The money's already allocated out of finance funds, out of bond funds. So we can make some of our bond money to...
And you think this would occur within a year's time?
No.
Wait, the improvement?
Well, the whole study, I mean, knowing how the Department of Transportation works.
Wait, we're just talking about the study on that particular light. I mean, maybe I'm eternally optimistic, but I'm hoping that they get it done in relatively short order, because my hope, yes, to answer your question, my hope is that it's done before next spring. That's my hope. Whether that comes to pass or not, I can't say. You and I have no control over what the state's going to do. But the goal, that's the goal, that's what we're expressing to them, that's our concern. It's a perpetual concern because of Brookdale. Once Brookdale's in session, and Phalanx Road becomes a heavily traveled thoroughfare for students coming back and forth, that's when it becomes really problematic. At least that's when I think most of us that live in the general vicinity experience the problem. It's certainly more profound just as a result of Brookdale. So,
The only thing is, if they're going to be improving 537 and 34, and you're going to have another project going on at 34 and Payline.
no, that wouldn't be a project. That would be, it's just changing the head of the light. That's all it is. It's just changing the head. And I think you're talking about half a day's work for the team.
No, they gotta change, they gotta put some kind of leak detection system in everything else, or cameras so you know how to shit.
But it's not road work.
No, it's not.
Right,
No.
they're not tearing anything up or building anything or
That's what
continuing to
we're
use that. Right. That would be a motion then. Yes. No, yes?
Well, it just seems to me, maybe I'm confused, but it sounds to me like you're, the step, as far as I can see, the states are gonna do two separate analysis. They are gonna combine them, and what you need to ask them is, will they add that into their study, not a separate study?
We don't wanna wait that long, 4 years.
I don't think,
We wanna done that.
Okay, I'll
Good
actually,
luck, that's what I'm saying.
sure, I deal with the Department of Transportation, especially recently, almost on a daily basis. These are completely two separate items. Like there's a paving project and a reconstruction project. I'll talk a little about the paving at my report, and then this is a safety feature that we feel needs to get done as soon as possible. So very, very separate things. We're making sure that we're utilizing our resources appropriately. Guaranteed. Good. So we're, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
After this, we're going to wait till public comments.
I only have one question on it because on later, will we have to purchase or will we have to cut into our field over there to accommodate like Phalanx? Because when you talk about the configuration.
We're going to, I think we should let DOT do an evaluation.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't even have to do that.
Right. It's a little
This
too.
is narrow then.
This is a letter, this is authorizing a letter to the Department of Transportation to do the
Asking them to look
do
at
the
it.
evaluation.
Okay.
And they can come back and tell us no, and then it becomes a moot point.
Exactly. I think we had our motion and second.
I can make a motion.
Second.
Roll call, please. Yes. Item number 8 is a motion to approve consent agenda, which are the following. Resolution 2015-96, resolution authorizing recreation program refunds. Resolution 2015-97, resolution authorizing High Point Utilities refund of $100. Resolution 2015-98, resolution consenting to the reporting of corrected deeds for block 22.05, blocks 1.02 and 2.01, and resolution 2015-99, resolution authorizing participation in the New Jersey Department of Agriculture survey of gypsy moth egg masses. Any comments? I have a motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Longo?
Yes.
Mayor McEnroe?
Yes.
Mayor Chapman?
Yes. Number 9, discussion of New Jersey Department of Transportation fiscal year 2016 state aid programs, transportation trust fund grant application. Gentlemen, we have in front of you, as we do every year, from our engineer, recommendations for roads that we should submit for these state aid programs. Over the years, we've had many roads that have been have a grant to do the paving. Our most recent one, which I'll be talking about a little later, is part of Laird Road. And our engineer came back with the following recommendations: Laird Road from Cross Road to Highway 34, or 5 Points Road from Howell Township border to Route 18 overpass bridge. What are your thoughts?
I know we've applied for 5 points in the past and we've gotten rejected. I think the logical and most realistic road that we could get approved would be the complete Laird Road.
No, I was thinking the other way around. I was thinking 5 point. I know we applied to Stone Hill. I don't know if we applied for 5 point.
We may be,
Or Stone Hill wasn't 5 point. I think we should do 5.1 because they're doing a study on 34 and maybe let them do most of it. And when it comes time to that, you know, we're doing Laird Road. Even in Glenn's letter, he doesn't seem to think we're going to get 2 years in a row, but we did.
for the 2 sections of the lot.
2 sections of Laird. I don't think it's a big enough project. I think 5 Point Road would be a better project. We've tried Stone Hill, we're going to have to do our own.
Right. That's
Oh,
on
yeah, that's on the list.
So, that's on our list.
That's on the top of this.
I say we try for 5 Point Road. You got the school there, you got the parks there, it's more travel.
I'm fine with it. Both roads need to be done.
Yeah,
So-
from Cross Road to Laird Road, I mean, we want to get that drainage issue with a traffic light. And you know what, it's worked all these years, traffic light. Will they get down with that study? Let's see, I mean,
Do we have the relative length of the two projects in terms of miles? And it's not, do you know how long they are? In terms of length and cost to,
I'd say half a mile.
and have the other one.
I'd let
Same thing?
I'd go with 3/4 closer to a mile. I'd go to Route 18 overpass. Because that's bad down there. There's a couple of manholes and it floods out down there, especially down there on the bed bend. Maybe they could get it right so it fits that the other way.
So we have some time, not much, but we have enough time that if Beth, if you could ask Mr. Gerken, our township engineer, for 2 things, would be the length of both of these projects and a very rough estimate of both of those projects' costs. That way, I think that will help us make our final decision that I would like to do on September 9th, our next meeting.
Yeah,
I'm able to do it 5 points.
I'd like to talk to the county. Try to see if we could do a swap, get 5 points for them. And we take one of their county roads, like Crime Road. You know, it's got to be the same length. But I think we could talk to them, especially, you know, Crime and Dutch Lane are pretty good. I would take Crime because Dutch Lane is thoroughfare. I would take Crime from Boundary to merry-go-round.
Just for resurfacing?
No, just a home. We would have, yeah, merry-go-round. Anyhow, I would take that road or take the Conover Road piece on the other side. They give you a county road. One time I talked to even maybe taking our biggest problem, Boundary Road, from Prime up to 520. And they'll take thoroughfares and swap them out for other roads, but we have to take the road back. So, something to think about.
Look into it. Yeah, look into that and get us some information. That'd be great. Thank you. Item number 10 is administrative report. Mr. Antis?
We have been contacted by the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation about their 5th annual Cycle for Life. It is scheduled for October 3rd. I have reviewed the route with the chief. No tangent forces, either police or DPW will be deployed. We should probably just do a simple motion of approval so we can let them know.
All right, but when is October 3rd?
The day after October.
It's a Saturday. Where's the route?
It's on your map there.
This goes to 4, 5, 10.
It's also the beginning of 20.
Oh, yeah, so building customers.
Yeah, they're gonna buy a lot of them bicycles. They don't even stop at traffic lights.
Yep. It's huge.
Yeah, it's good.
So it's a very small part of our town.
I don't even remember this from last year, that we were here, so. couldn't have done it.
Yeah, we didn't get any problems from it.
Well, I'll tell you what, it goes from 34 all the way down to Swim River Road. You get a lot of traffic down there that time of year. It's going to come home the side. And standing where Eastman Orchards has their picture room and all that. You ever had a DPW do it? No. That's what it said.
No, it said no police or DPW.
Right.
Manpower.
Yeah, it's their show. Anything else? Good. We just need an all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
The new well at Bucks Mills has been drilled, the laterals have been run, trench has been backfilled, and everything should be just fine for the Wilson area. 3 vendors picked up specs for leaf disposal. Brent Industries, Mazza, and Holly Hill Farms. Bid opening is Tuesday, September 1st at 10 a.m.
Where's Holly Hill from?
What's the house? Community.
I forget where Holly Hill is.
Holly Hill Farms.
Concord.
I don't remember.
The guy that came in to see me.
I don't remember.
It's in-
Oh, we gotta
it's in
do
his
it.
name.
Mrs. Zeman says Conover Road.
Yeah, where are you gonna take them there?
Well, I would imagine, again, this is they picked up the bids, right? So we haven't approved anything
Well, we
yet.
have to deliver these, bids are due September.
Right.
We have to deliver these leaves. You're gonna deliver them to Massa and all these other places?
We set up a bid process.
Haven't bid yet.
Right, we haven't bid it yet. We need to see what comes back.
Just because they picked up the bid package doesn't mean they can bid
And
it.
they have to make all the requirements, so
They're just
many
looking at the
times,
specs.
yeah, they look at them and never determine it, so.
I mean, you may not get any bid.
We recently had some malicious damage to one of the fields at Buck Mills Park. The Detective Bureau went through an investigation and through some pretty good police work, they found the perpetrators. An 18-year-old and a 17-year-old. They will be pressing charges against both of them. At the same time, DPW hustles to prepare the whole field. First aid response activity, first aid calls 55 in July, total of 347 for the year. Fire calls 26 in July, 148 for the year. Traffic stops in July, 369, total of 1827 for the year. 7 arrests in July, and total of 85 for the year. And in July, the men in uniform issued 191 summonses.
We have the Bucks Mill Community Center approval.
Yes, sir. We got a request to serve alcohol at Community Center Park, September 11th, which is Friday in the evening, and September 12th, which is, it's a wedding. They have hired professional bartenders. They will provide for and pay for taxis. and they obtained a certificate of insurance naming Colts Neck as additionally insured in the amount of $1 million. It's in effect a one-day liquor license.
I'm going to point out something that I just noticed, and I did look at this in advance. This is the insurance attorney, the certificate of insurance names Colts Neck as a certificate holder. That is not an additional insured. It's different. That change needs to be made. The 11th and the
It's
12th.
actually,
Otherwise, I don't have a problem.
the actual event is the 12th, the 11th is just the rehearsal.
They're doing setup.
Right.
Well, I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but that's got to be fixed.
And then the stipulation that needs to be fixed. Tom, anything on that?
Nope.
Great, so we have an approval for that pending.
With that one stipulation,
Yes.
and that's a big one. That's got to be done.
Mr. Francis, anything else?
That's it.
Great. Item number 11 is motion to approve the vouchers. Our clerk can verify that maybe Cheryl was here earlier, reviewed all the vouchers, did not leave any notes for us behind. So gentlemen, I ask for your comments. They're in total, by the way, remember that usually we have a 2-week meeting, this time it's a month, so it's $7,763,235.97. Once again, when you hear those types of numbers, remember that most of that money is the pass-through from collection of taxes and going to the school boards, so that's where the majority of that money lies. Anything else? Motion, please.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Would you get a roll call?
Yes.
David McNabb,
Yeah, except for abstain for schools.
Mayor Shatner.
Yes, except to abstain from ToCN Associates. Great, let's do township committee reports. Russell, you want to start us?
Thank you. Reminder to everybody that uses their library, it will be closed Saturday, August 29th through Monday, September the 7th for the installation of new carpeting. The library expects to resume their regular operating hours and programs on September 8th, 2015 at 1 p.m. I believe there'll be notices posted in the library itself. They were supposed to do that. Thank you, sir. One thing on the litigation front, happy to report that we had a favorable disposition of a lawsuit against the town. Lawsuit of Sauter versus the Colts Neck Fire Department et al. Was dismissed by way of summary judgment by Judge Boomer, sitting in Monmouth County Superior Court last Friday, dismissing all claims against the township. And I will note that according to our Chief Financial Officer, for the period 2013 through July 2015, we have expended $38,289.57 in counsel fees and costs. The complaints, and those will include the complaints brought to the Government Records Council, brought by Mr. Sauter.
Anything else?
That's it.
Great, Tom?
No, we didn't have planning board. I didn't make farmland preservation. The CNBA had a card exchange last night at Pebble Creek. September 19th, I think it is, they're having pig roast at the Bucksville Park, CNBA. Other than that, that's about it.
Great, thank you. A few things to report. Hopefully you've enjoyed a little better the ride on Route 34 over the past several weeks. So again, I'm getting to know all the players of the Department of Transportation, or I should say they're getting to know me. Just constant contact with them to the point where it became a little more urgent as that road just deteriorated, and of course the concern of winter not far off pushed them to spend $1.5 million on repairs of our Route 34 from end to end. Most of you have seen those repairs, much needed, and I'm very happy with how they've turned out. We're continuously talking to them, making sure that that stays repaired. With that, I did report that they kind of switched things around because they were going to do a repaving of 34 in 2016. So that paving is now going to be put off to 2020. These are facts from the Department of Transportation, by the way. And now they're going to do a redesign of Route 34. When I heard that, I really wanted some clarification, and their terminology of that is that instead of just milling and paving over, they're going to rip out the problem, which is the cement, or Deputy Mayor will correct me, it's not actually ripping out, but working the cement, so now the pavement actually sticks to it. So we don't have that thud every 20 feet that most of them have had since we've been riding on Route 34.
What they did even this time is they cut back a foot and a half on each side of it, where the two joints were. They cut it out and did it so that when the asphalt expands now, like they did down sort of the further south, that's why it cost so much money just to do that little bit, but they got rid of the bumps.
Yeah, and for the people that don't know, that haven't heard us, this discussion that we've had since I've been here, 15 years, Route 34 used to be concrete.
Yeah.
Still is.
I understood, but I used to be honest.
That was the Navy
Navy
road. So we're happy about that, and I've been very pleased with the cooperation and work that the Department of Transportation has done for us and will hopefully continue to do for us. We also talked about, one of the resolutions we did tonight was, or the discussion that we had was applying for grants to pave some roads. We did execute an agreement for Laird Road Phase 2, which is the fiscal year 2015 municipal aid program in the amount of $240,000 that the state will be putting in to pave that part of Laird Road, and the township also puts in some money for that. And that will get part of the paving process that will happen as soon as we continue to execute this program. I spoke a little about my enthusiasm and excitement for the fair. Remember tomorrow night's opening night, 4 o'clock, and fireworks as it gets dark around 9-ish, and then throughout the weekend. Statistically, I've been nervous about every weekend for the last, 6, 7 that have been perfect. I'm not sure if we're going to get that good of weather, but I'm hoping very close to that. So hope to see you there. That's all I have. And that will open, I'll bring us to comments from the public. Mrs. Wilcox.
Susan Wilcox, thank you for calling me early. There's been a lot of discussion on insurance, the alcohol. I just got one question. I want some, comment and a question. I've noticed there's been the last few years, a lack of control in the fair. It used to be that the liquor was kept inside, there was someone sitting at the entrance, and it's just gotten to the point where now they're taking it out, they're putting it on the picnic tables, and the kids can get at it. This much can make a child drunk. I hope there's going to be more control of it. I hope you're going to bring it back, close it in, and keep it within the food area.
Good.
Please.
Thank you. Yep, we'll continue to work hard on that.
I appreciate it.
Mrs. Stain? Yes, ma'am.
Virginia Hayman. We have something unusual going on, and I don't think that the people understand that that the garbage collectors don't pick up toilets or sofas and so forth that I'm seeing around
Can you make a
town.
specific reference to one on Ironton Road?
But the problem is not the household person. The vendors do not collect that kind of material. But part of the problem is us. We have cut back on cleanup days. We used to have them twice a year. And it's clear by the kind of materials that we're seeing on the curb that we need to expand the cleanup days. Money gets spent in this town for lots of different things. And I don't think cleanup days is the one that you should spare the money. And so I wish when March comes around that you would seriously look at funding adequate cleanup days.
Thank you. Good. Mr. Sauter?
Yes, thank you. Jeff Sauter, 41 Ann Street, Colts Neck. Just a few things here. I've been getting a couple phone calls for pool fills And I haven't been involved with that for many years, so, and that's actually of recent too, just the other day. So if, this one guy also, Mr. Pfeiffer, even called and he says, well, he didn't get anything from town hall or useless, whatever, so. And another guy called me and said, just about a month ago, said, town hall gave me your number, Jeff. So I don't know what's going on, but if you can kind of fix that, I'm trying to help these citizens out. The status report, if you could, on the business, the township administrator, I know you guys have been going in executive discussions and stuff. Can you give the residents an update on that?
Sure. We're in final negotiations with the finalists, and we hope to announce that person on September 9th, which is our next township committee meeting.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I know you're talking about roads in applying for a state grant. I know, Mayor, you've, as a junior and a senior member, have kind of kicked the can down the road for, 8.5 years. I hope, as part of these kind of grant discussions that you're doing with the state, that before you leave as mayor, you can, kind of put your thoughts and plans and get this capital project going. Because like I said before, the roads is probably one of the most important capital projects in this town. And it seems like there's just a lot of talk, and not enough action. The other thing is, I don't know, with Jared Angle not here, I know he's been missing a couple meetings. I know his house is for sale. Is there anything about him not being a town committeeman soon, or is he moving within town that you guys know? And maybe you can't say anything, but maybe next meeting you can come back and let us know if he's just moving within town, great. But I don't know if he's moving out and someone's not going to be able to fill his term out, okay? The other thing too is I want to talk about the June 24th meeting minutes, now that they were approved at last meeting and posted. I obviously reviewed them, and let me just read my comments that were recorded in the meeting minutes. Mr. Jeffrey Sauter, a resident, concurred with Mr. Scotti regarding the re-examination of the FRSD funding formula, and he thanked Mr. Antis for updating attendees on the status of filling the township administrator post. At the urging of Council Clark, Mr. Sauter provided the clerk's office with a letter for the file, which is on file in the office of the clerk. Now, I know, Mayor, you were not here at that meeting to approve those minutes. I know, Russell, you were, Tom Orgo, you were, and I know Mike Fitzgerald was, but obviously he's not here to say anything. But where did you guys hear the word or see urging? What I saw and witnessed, and probably everyone that was here, was John Bennett's son-in-law standing up and saying, submit your letter. There was no urging going on there at all. So the June 10th meeting, you guys might not record my protest, may not record the general content, and I know it doesn't need to be verbatim. That's one thing that's wrong. I consider that like not recording history correctly. What happened on the 24th of June by using the word urging, I consider that changing history. And everyone up there sitting at that table should be appalled at yourself for approving those meeting minutes that used the word urging. What a spin that is. And that is unbelievable. And my final comment, yes, Russ, the judge ruled. We haven't decided if we're going to appeal or not. I'll make a public comment just like you made a public comment. Because just like I said before, if I don't get my day in court to protect my name and my integrity and my honor, which I had a 50-50 shot here, and I'll take that any day to protect my honor. I don't know about you guys, but I'll take that shot any day in court to protect my name and my honor. So I'll have my day one way or another. If it's in court, great. If it's not in court, maybe good for you. Lucky you guys. I got nothing further to say. Thank you.
Any other comments? Sir?
Ken Rogers. I have something to read and some request items. Colts Neck is a beautiful place to live and raise a family with so many great people. It's a shame that certain board members have scared so many of them away from these town board meetings. Many residents have been mistreated over the years with disrespect and confrontation by these board members. It seems to many people that this bad attitude and behavior has grown and festered with the election of more and more attorneys to this board. It also seems to many people that these attorneys have decided to use their powers against instead of for the residents of Colts Neck, for whom they are supposed to be serving and protecting. The Board of Colts Neck needs to make it clear that they work for the residents of Colts Neck and not the other way around. And the members of the board will be there to serve the best interests of the good people of Colts Neck, not be there for their own individual pursuits and profit from their position or self-interests. I, and those I speak for, sincerely hope the Colts Neck Board returns to the great group that was once relied on by the people of this great town, to serve them and to protect their interests and the interests of the town, and return to being part of the team, so we can all work together and get all the things accomplished that need to be done. These are the items for request. For instance, just a few items that have not been successfully dealt with. 1, report to us, the residents, all the details of the $300,000+ that Art Goodwin stole of our tax dollars. 2, new impartial town legal counsel / representation that's not connected to the town and better informed on law that the ACLU pointed out in Asbury Park Press focused on better serving the residents of Colts Neck, not the board. 3, keep our local roads better paved and safe. 4, come up with an execute effective plan regarding the deer so that death and injury can be prevented. 5, keep our roads safe and free from branch and debris piles by actually enforcing the code. 6, provide board member meetings, video and audio to us all, like our many neighboring towns, to help those without access or time to make all the meetings, and allow those interested to reference back so we know what's going on and who's doing what. 4, come up with a plan to save what's left of our street bordering trees from the vines that are killing them unnaturally. I very much hope that all these items are taken seriously and that they help to identify the needed changes that many have been waiting for without wasting any more of our time or our tax dollars fighting individual vendettas. Thank you.
Mr. Rogers, have you ever been to a township committee meeting before?
Yes, I have.
In the last 5 years?
Why are you asking?
Because you talk as if you've come and made these complaints to us in the past, and I don't know. I've never heard of that.
I think you're misperceiving nowadays.
I don't think so. I think it's good you just talk.
I think you have something you want to ask it.
I'm asking if you've ever been to a town, by the way, this is a township committee, not a board.
Thank you.
This is a committee form of government.
Yeah.
But I'm asking if you've ever been here before and made any of the complaints you have. Could you identify the date for me?
No. Is there anything specific you want to ask me about what I read?
No, sir. No, sir, I don't know.
You sure?
I am very sure.
Anybody else here on the board?
Thank you.
Michael Viola, Provincial Police, Colts Neck. Is there a mechanism in place to follow up on some of the trash that's on the street? And I echo the comments on the debris. the pickup season ended in June, it's supposed to write on the landing page that debris is not supposed to be in front of the yards, that there are codes, summonses, and I really urge the board to follow Ed Thompson's recommendation from the budgeting season, that code enforcement go out and summons, let the judge know that we're going to enforce these, it keeps the streets cleaner, keeps the streets safer, it keeps the infrastructure safer, because what happens when we eventually get rain is there's going to be runoff, some of that's going to be carried into the basins and block the basins. It brings recycling that's left on the street or trash that's left on the street. It's just very unsightly. It's a beautiful community. We need to work on the curb appeal of Colesnet. It will help Colesnet continue to be a beautiful place to live. So I ask that you guide code enforcement to ring on doorbells and put warnings or whatever it is to get residents in front of the judge. And I also ask that you consider enforcing the overnight parking ban that's in town. Lots of cars that are left, especially in the summer. There's pool parties going on, and in some places, there's cars parked on both sides of the street. So it eliminates the wide streets to get tanker trucks through the town, because there's cars parked there at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. They should be summoned, they should be brought in front of the judge, and they should be penalized and told. We can't have that because it's a safety hazard for the town. And infrastructure safety and aesthetics, we all know that that's what you gotta do. We appreciate it. But I really urge you to enforce the codes.
Thank you. Mrs. Wilcox?
I didn't catch your
Actually, you
name,
need to.
but
That's right.
I agree with him completely, 100%. I think that there is a lot of lack of understanding or listening. You're not listening to the people. You're just kind of whispering between yourselves. And one of the things I have to ask is, you talked about the route. You asked Tommy about the route. But I couldn't hear what the route was. I mean, half the time we can't hear what you're saying. But we'd like to know what the routes are. Not just the committee. Thank you.
Sure, it's a bike race, like so many races that happen through the town. Mrs. Van?
Yes. I would like to address my question to Mr. Antis.
Sure.
Mr. Antis, a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was a week ago, Mr. Burke, Mr. Quintanan, and Mr. Meehan spoke to you about surplus vehicles, government surplus vehicles, and you were going to talk to the police chief in us obtaining them, because townships like Middletown, they got these surplus vehicles from the government, and their police chief had ordered them, whatever was available, and they took them, and they, I know in one instance it was a tractor, and they converted it into a snowplow and what have you. So is there any report on an update of vehicles he's trying to obtain? I see that he got a Hummer, so is there any possibility?
Yeah, there
of
were
any
three
other
vehicles, they're actually being, under a shared service agreement, being painted by the county as we speak.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that, and I appreciate all your work too. The second question I have is, Mr. Sawyer brought up Mr. Engel, and the rumor that I heard was Mr. Engel has been promoted and he is moving to one of the Carolinas, and his house was up for sale. And since he's missed so many meetings, I don't know what our rule is, Mr. Bennett, on that. Because you had made a comment to me, Mary Lane, if you miss 3 meetings, you're thrown out. What's our...
We never figured you out.
I know you haven't. But I'd like to know what the ruling is on that. And my recommendation is he should put in a letter of resignation. Mr. Schatzel, you should appoint a person to finish his term out.
He wouldn't get to a point, just so you know. If there was a vacancy, it would be, 3 names would be submitted from the Republican county chairman, local chairman, to the governing body, and the governing body would choose from one of those 3 names to fill a vacancy until the election. So I mean, just so
All right,
that's...
well, because he still has another year, and, I mean, things could happen. What if you could break your leg, something could happen to you? I mean, look, Mr. Fitzgerald is in here tonight, and you have to
He didn't break his leg.
No, we know, and we don't really want to know why he is in here, but that's okay. And the third thing is, I do agree with Mr. Rogers, and I would like to thank Jeff Sauter for taping all the meetings that we've had, and it helps people to understand how our government works. And since he's been taking, I'm so happy to say that we are more civil to one another in this process, and that's the way it should be. And the fourth thing I have to say is September the 19th, the whole entire world will be cleaning up waterways. And Clean Communities invites anyone who wants to participate, either the beaches, either our streams or lakes, to get out there and clean it up. And if they could contact us, because what they're going to do is this whole entire cleanup worldwide, it's going to happen over 3 weekends. They're going to weigh the material and see how much actual trash is out there in our waterways. So it's going to be quite amazing, because some countries, you know, they're not like us. They don't clean as good as we do. So that's all I have to report. Thank you.
Mr. Rogers, you have a follow-up?
Yeah, I was just wondering what the gentleman, I don't know his name, is. I'm still concerned about your question. It seems like you're trying to discredit something I had to say. Is that because you think that if I wasn't here for a certain amount of time, what I had to say was incorrect?
Thanks for your comment.
It's not a comment.
We're not going back, it's not a back and forth thing. It's really not a back and forth thing, I don't.
Oh, okay, we can't have a conversation.
I'll be happy to after the meeting, this is a
I'd like
public
to be
session.
on the
That's
record.
open to comments. Mr. Costa.
I'd like to thank the mayor and the township committee for the work that they did regarding Route 34 and the work that you do for the rest of the roads in town. We're all aware that there are areas of town that need repair. If we had an unlimited amount of money, I'm sure we would repair them all. But I think that the work that you do to try to keep the streets as paved as possible should be complimented, and I do so. I know a lot of residents appreciate the work that was done in 34 particularly. So I thank you for your efforts on behalf.
Appreciate that. I've been able to, over the years, get many millions of dollars that needed to be bonded to get roads paved. I should probably put a list together of the ones that I've gotten done over the years since I've been on the township committee. And including this year, we're going to be going out to bond, but there is a holdup from another project that it's always the big picture, as you know very well with all the volunteering we do in town. So we can't make a decision on the roads until we get a report on another project that we're doing in the town, which happens to be a building. So as we have a number in our head, we've discussed many times here of the roads that we think need to be done the most, and we'll be getting to those, but we're not making that decision on the bond money, as we've said many times in these meetings, until we get that report from an architect for that, and a feasibility study. So sometimes I'd love the things that happen tomorrow, but there is a big picture to put together, and that's what all your committeemen do each and every day. So, Mrs. Amon.
In the interest of transparency, I was wondering, and I've asked this question before, why we can't have copies of the bills list the same as we have of the agenda. We're talking about 2 sheets of paper times however many people are here. If you need a ream of paper, I'll be happy to donate it. The other issue is even more important, which is our finance officer only appears about 1 time a year, and he usually sits at that table with his back to the rest of us. When I go to Homedale or Middletown, the finance officer is there every time, because we don't know when a financial question of interest to the audience is going to come up. And I think we're not such a busy financial entity that we can't have our financial officer here at each meeting 2 times a month.
Thank you. Mrs. Rush.
We own the library building, right, and the grounds around, even though we're a member of the county library system. I don't know if you've ever observed how those bricks are sinking and how there's an accident waiting to happen, especially when you come up the first 3 steps and you step down. Is there any plan to keep that area safer, to keep it so that you don't have these surfaces where people could trip, break a leg? I mean, this has been happening over the years, but it's getting to the point where there are certain sections that
There's one section in particular, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's on the list, so it's definitely something that I want to get to before, sooner than later, but you should see the list. So we're working on that, but we're aware of that. Thank you. Seeing no other comments, I will close the public hearing and move to item number 14, resolution 2015-100, executive sessions. Motion to approve. All in favor? Aye. Thank you all. Have a good evening. See you there.